So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new page in the application. The name of this page is going to be bulk CA entry. So what I'm going to do is I'll go to the client project and right click on pages. I'm going to say new page, and from the available templates I'm going to create. You can see in the available template I chose empty page. So I'll click next, and the name of this page is going to be bulk CA entry. Then I click finish. So the bulk CA entry page has been created. I'm going to open the code behind file for this. This is what I have right now, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy the prepared file that I've prepared the layout for this lesson. I'm going to overwrite what Razin has created. Now let's go over what was done. Okay, let me start from line 37, where I created academic session variable. I created term ID variable, school class ID, subject ID, mark obtainable, data service is being injected, and I created a collection of academic section objects. I have a collection. Also have academic section count. I have a collection of term subjects. I have a collection of school classes subjects. I have a collection of continuous assessment view model called students. I have class register variable, and I have a collection of subjects. So in the initialize async method, I set academic section term ID, school class ID, subject ID, mark obtainable. I set them to 0. I create a new class register, and I create a new list of continuous assessment view model. Call them students. I assign it to students variable. Now there is a method called fetch class register click. So in this fetch class register click, I call another method called fetch class register. So inside fetch class register, all we are doing is we are getting the class register from the database. Now, so we get the list of students. So after we get class register successfully, we get the list of students containing class register. Now on line 104, if at least one student is found in class register, so now we create a new list based on continuous assessment view model. So for each item in class register students, we get student full details from student table. So if the student record is located, then we add each student to the continuous assessment view model list. So your student list dot add new continuous assessment view model, academic section ID, term ID, school class ID, student ID equal to student record dot student ID, admission number, first name is equal to student record your first name, last name is equal to student record dot last name, subject ID entry date is equal to the time of today, inserted by is equal to current user, mark obtainable is equal to CA mark obtainable, mark obtained is set to the default value of 0. So at the end of the old stuff, we now assign student list to students. So we have cancel fetch register play method, which this method calls another method called await reset form async. Now in await reset form async, we call another method called reset, the synchronous method called reset form. And what am I doing in this reset form? All I just do is set academic session ID, term ID, school class ID, subject ID, and mark obtainable to 0 on students, and reset students to a new list of continuous assessment view model. The method on line 157 is used to fetch, is used to populate academic sessions drop down. The method on line 173 is used to populate terms drop down. The method on line 189 will be used to populate school classes drop down. The method on line 205 will be used to populate subjects drop down. Now, on line 220, we have method to save continuous assessment scores. So this method is called the cause CA scores click, and it calls another method called whose name is save CA scores async. So what are we doing in save CA scores async, which is on line 225? If zero number of students is displayed on data grid, so display this message that class register is either empty or you may not have fetched it. Else implies that at least one student is displayed on data grid. So for each continuous assessment view model students and students, call the stored procedure through the data service. So insert sync, I'm calling the stored procedure created earlier on here, and I'm passing as parameters to the stored procedure student ID, academic section, term ID, school class ID, subject ID, mark obtained, mark obtainable, entry date, inserted by. So that is all that there is to the code in the code file. Now the next thing I want to do is the markup for the page. I'll go to source. I'm going to clean all I have here. I'm going to paste this. So what have we done here? what I've done is to have on line 1 we have the page route, and then on line 8 I have the page title, and then on line 11 we have a right syntax which displays the name of the page in bold. On line 18 I have the drop down. On line 19 I have the drop down for academic section. On line 30 I have the drop down for 10. Let me go back to the drop down for academic section. So so this is the drop down for academic section. Drop down is expecting who teachers as value. Value property is academic section ID. Text property is academic section. Data is academic sections. Load data method. See? Then we bind it to academic section ID. Then we also have a drop on line 30. We have a drop down for term ID as well. Then on line 41, we have another drop down for school class ID. On line 52, we have another drop down which is expecting long values. This drop down is used to populate subjects. Then we have a label which we use to enter mark obtainable. And then on line 67, we have buttons for submitting the CA scores and button for research. Then line 76 to 87, we have the data grid to display the list of students in the class as we are populating their CA scores. Oh, the button for line the buttons on line 67 are to fetch the submit button on line 67 is to fetch list of students from the database, while the submit button on line 95 is to save CA scores. And you can see that the submit button on line 65 has a click event which is attached to the course CA scores click. Okay,